Welcome to YouTube.
We are
We are
live.
on the internet. uh,
Welcome to the Intersanctum.
this is the internet. We are on Earth. Stardate
This
420.
is ground control to Major Clint. I'm singing this song again. All those David Bowie fans are throwing tomatoes at me. Sorry, I'm trying hard, can't you see?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty good impression.
Well, I do a good Bowie. If you catch me in the right, if you get the music playing in the background and you get the microphone set just right, I can do David Bowie real easy.
Oh, yeah.
My voice is pretty kind of set to do him. As you know, I do impressions. When I was a kid, there was a character named Rich Little, comedian that was on TV shows everywhere. Johnny Carson show. Probably did movies and kind of stuff. He was an imitator. He was an imitator. Did Richard Nixon and back in the 70s. One of the best impersonators, Rich Little.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. All the adults thought that was funnier than hell. Him being able to do the voices. So I used to practice voices of the presidents back when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah, like Reagan or something.
Jimmy Carter, Richard Nixon.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely Reagan. Later on,
what does Nixon say? He says,
"I'm not a crook."
Yeah.
I'm
not a crook.
The president doesn't. It's not illegal.
No, Watergate. No.
And they said the N-word a lot too. Some goddamn N-words. Nixon was very racist in the tapes that were released. Nixon Library. 40 years after he dies, suddenly we have to let everybody know that he was saying cuss words against other people of other skin colors when referencing them in the Oval Office.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Lyndon Johnson, lots of N words flying with him.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But those parts of history are supposed to be ignored. But what's going on, Clint? How is everyone out there? And
Jonas said he was
Clint Ace Woodland.
Going to sleep.
He just chickened out. He wimped out. He just can't handle it. He can't handle it.
Pedro says,
Pedro,
greetings.
you know we love you, Pedro. Keep on magic. Keep magic.
The Wednesday Mercury podcast, because Wednesday is for the planet Mercury.
Mercury, sign of Mercury. Yeah. What story?
And the human story.
The human map, consciousness.
Well, the days of the week, you know.
Yeah, Monday's Moon Day, Sunday's Sunday, Thursday's Thor Day, Friday's
Mars,
Phrygia.
Yeah, Thursday's Jupiter,
Saturday's Saturn.
And then Wednesday is Mercury or Hermes or.
Is Wednesday the Mercury? I like Mercury. Magicians relate to the archetype of Mercury because in the mythology, Mercury he's fast moving. He's got fucking wings on his boots. The gods would use him as a messenger to fly around. Yeah, that was one part of it, but he's really fast too.
Think about the old story. It's like God is inflammable, but then along comes the trickster and tricks him into doing something, you know. making the inflammability fameable or whatever.
It does kind of relate to the trickster Loki kind of element.
Yeah, like
a
in the
magician or
Thoth
whatever. But
story in Egypt, Thoth was Mercury, and Thoth there was there's five infants or something, five new gods or something, and they couldn't be born on any day of the week, and so Mercury gambled with the moon and then made five new days, and then for the year, so because the god said the story, these are not my you know offspring.
these are
They
not the
cannot be
droids you're
born.
looking for.
Yeah, they can't be born on any day of the week of the year, day of the year. And so the bet was made, and new days created. So then they weren't born on any day of the year, but born on days outside of the year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the whole Egyptian mystery Osiris
it
story.
was cool to be over on JJ's show again. You know, always cool to hang out with JJ. Man, you learn so much from him, right?
Yeah, that was
He's
good
a
hanging out.
walking encyclopedia. Everybody's got their own. JJ, Jonah, Clint, me. Everybody's got our own take on the movie, which is nice. Um, fun crowd. Phil Cesaro. You should invite Phil Cesaro to come on your show sometime and talk about the mafia and its connections to the government and all this. So many
Yeah,
key elements of
there's
what's going on here is the mob working with the government, working with the intelligence agencies, working with the religions, working with the scumbags, working with the
yeah, yeah.
drugs, pushing the drugs, peddling the kids. God knows what these guys have been doing.
The whole you see that thing about they claimed Epstein won the lottery in 2008 in Texas,
I'm hearing this story in
68 million or
Texas or New Mexico, or was it Texas?
one of the two. I don't remember. It was
Somebody rigging the lotteries so that the CIA can get money for nothing and your chicks for free. Who the fuck do you think put out that stupid song? Who the fuck do you think put out that stupid song by Dire Straits? So Dire Straits puts out a really cool song, The Sultans of Swing. Yeah, Sultans. Yeah, Sultans. The Plezio. Big hit song.
familiar.
Yo. Check out Guitar George. He knows all the chords. Bam, 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 bam. He's got a part-time job. He's doing all right. So they come off real cool with this Sultans of Swing. We're the Sultans. We're the Sultans of a trio.
Yeah, I remember that song.
Of course, it was number one song of the year. And then suddenly they come out with money for nothing and your chicks for free. We got a part-time custom kitchen delivery. We got to move these refrigerators. Got to move these color TVs. How stupid is this song?
Oh, they have the MTV song.
The MTV stupid song. If that's like the
okay,
symbol, it sucks to high heaven, Clint. It had Sting. It had Sting in it, you know, from the Police. He helped with the backup vocals. That's how stupid this song is. Brought in Sting to make it even more popular, this stupid song. When they asked him, why did you write this song? What is this stupid song about? They said, we were at the fucking RC Willie's Furniture and we could hear a couple of construction guys talking about having to move heavy refrigerators and how people playing on TV and in bands had a better life than they did, and they wished that they were doing that. So we thought we'd write a stupid song about it and put it out, and now you're all listening to this stupid song, which is the end of their career. You know, and you and I talk. Oh yeah, after that record, it's all fucking over. If when you go from Sultans of well, the Sultans, the Sultans, the play a trio. You put out a cool song like that, and then you put out a song like "We Got You in Store Microwave Ovens." It's over. It's over. It's over. They were making fun of the common man having to deliver them their refrigerators, having to deliver them their luxury, sweating to give them the good life, bitching
I mean,
about seeing a bunch of guys on TV making money and getting girls.
the
It's
music
a
videos
totally
definitely
made up.
changed music.
Yeah, but it's a made up story. It's a made up history. MTV is made up. There's a lot of people. I sent you a video recently of the lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins saying that they took out rock bands. They decided they didn't want rock music to be the thing anymore. They brought in another type of music on purpose, and they made sure this other music didn't make money and pushed it away. And there was a big controversy that he said that. I can't believe he'd say that. Um,
Yeah, well, it does seem like it because there was so much metal and stuff. Then all of a
yeah,
sudden,
they got rid of heavy metal and they got rid of all that cool punk music and new wave shit and brought in rap music and then started building prisons everywhere and flooding all the big cities with cocaine, setting up drug gangs so they could distribute the drugs, move people into the prison pipeline so they could probably manufacture goods for the military industrial complex that gets license plates and tank parts and builds Kevlar vests for police so they can go in and shoot the guys that they're funding to bring the drugs through. Now we're fighting the drug war, Clint, down in Mexico. Trump's taken the fucking drug war to the cartels like no president has ever done. Let's be real here. This is the largest. This is almost like the United States has went to war against Mexico because the government and the cartels are almost the same thing in Mexico.
yeah, they're hand in hand, definitely. My friend
The
lived in
military, the
Mexico.
police, and so to take on the cartels, some big shifts are happening. We got Jonah all the time running Trump down. Oh, you love high gas prices. Trump isn't the cause of the rise and fall of gasoline. People want to say that, oh, he did this, he shut down the oil, he made the ships not run. He started the war. I don't know how the war's gonna go. I hope it goes well. I hope it comes out good for our country. I hope things work out well for our side. And I hope that our side's, fighting for a good cause. Because our country hasn't always been behind good causes, as is obvious.
Well, I mean, I'm not even convinced we even have a country. I mean,
yeah, really. I mean, well, of course you have a country. It's where you live. The United States. It's your country.
There's
but
no sovereignty. There's no. We're
a government that represents you. You have a country. You may not have a government that represents you.
Well, I believe in America and the Constitution and stuff, but like the whole way things are all set up, with the no gold and silver money, no, it's like the founding fathers would just be really, really sad. I mean, basically.
Oh, definitely, very scary, very scary. But we're living in a frightening time right now because, as I was telling my cousin last night that we get together and we talk, and he hates Trump. And he thinks that Trump's the literal devil and it's caused all the shit on the earth to be as bad as it is right now, and involved in probably screwed kids, and all this. I'm going, yeah, no evidence. So can't put a video, but a phone call there. Somebody reported here, there. I'm not saying it did or didn't happen, but I'm saying to say it happened and then be deranged about it without the evidence. Yeah. I don't get on here every day and say, or every show, and never have, and say Hillary Clinton's eating children or some shit.
Are always targets of people trying to sue them and cause all sorts of drama.
They have people that go out and purposely make a big scene and over exaggerate the situation of what might have happened.
Yeah.
That's easy enough to do.
Well, plus there's
And
people trying to get money for suing and stuff.
people trying to get money for suing people that sue people. One thing that they say that if you say someone has done something and they haven't done it or they haven't done it, then they can sue you for defamation. But if
Yeah.
they've done it, they don't have to sue you, and they usually won't respond to the threat because
Yeah, but it's true they can't sue you.
so they just ignore it, hope it passes over. What the intelligence agencies do is they flood the zone with information. If you study the conspiracy over the years, go way back. Conspiracy literature goes way back. John J. Robinson's book about the Illuminati is one of these examples, written in 1787 or some shit.
1798.
98, yeah, I can't remember exactly what year, but
Yeah.
An expose, trying to tell people that some shit's going on. Kind of like you see all around us today, whistleblowers come out telling you some shit's going on. Edward Snowden suddenly tells you this is what they're doing, and then nothing happens. It just continues to go on. Now it's embedded, it's all around you. Now it's becoming part of your life. Something that people would have thought was horrifying, like a Twilight Zone episode. Now you're living with it comfortably, sleeping with it at night. It's watching you shower. Yeah.
Twilight Zone.
Am I stepping into the Twilight Zone? Chairs between the hours, feels like Vietnam. But yeah, through the moon and stars, where am I to go now that I've gone too far? Am I tripping into the Twilight Zone? They put that song out, Golden Earring, 1983 or something like that. Golden Earring made a hit song in the late 70s, Radar Love, where they were singing a song about speeding on the highway because he can't wait to get to his girlfriend. He's super horny. And big hit. Killer guitar work. If you've never heard Radar Love, go look it up.
Yeah.
Radar Love.
Movies.
Laugh to the hippie rock and roll kind of shit. And then they polished their image and they come out with that song Twilight Zone during the MTV.
Yeah, that was a good song.
Invasion right at the beginning there, where they had a cool video, but cool song, like the number one song of the year in that category, rock and roll or something. I don't know. It's a big one. But more examples. That song is about a spy. Doesn't the video? If you watch the video, he's doing some undercover work and his cover gets blown. He's trapped behind enemy lines. What is he going to do? How's he going to get out of this situation? It's funny how they make a song out of that and they put it on mainstream radio, and the average person doesn't even understand what the whole song is about. They just know the cool lyrics. I'm not tripping into the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
By singing.
But then MTV was definitely bizarre. I mean, it was normal in the 80s. In the 90s, it started getting crazy.
That's just a big program, probably, by these people. You have 3 stations on television back in the 70s. Going to the 80s, they bring in cable. And now they're piping you fucking 13 channels. And then by the time they're, some movie channels, some stupid weather channels that people thought were cool back then. And then MTV comes around, music TV, right? And so it's just part of the program. Get used to it. Get you hooked on music and videos on TV so they can bring in rap and set up the prison industrial complex because they had the drug war going in full tilt. Ronald Reagan getting hard on drugs while the CIA is moving drugs all around the world, according to Ross Perot. he goes looking for some POWs and he finds that CIA's over there running some cocaine everywhere. And then they're putting poor black kids and anybody else they get in their net into prison so they
Oh,
can
this
serve
crazy
life
video.
sentences
You see what that
and make
mayor of
parts
Chicago
for the
said recently?
military industrial police complex.
You see what that mayor of Chicago said recently? He said, what did
He
he
was
say?
glad to get rid of white people. He's glad white people were living as
No, it was. Let me see if I can find a
that
clip
was
of
a good one.
He said something about not putting people in
Prisons,
jail or something for crime, and it was like, what?
victimless crimes.
Let me see if I can.
What's this fool saying?
Snag the video real quick. Hold on. Damn it. It's on Reddit. He said, we can't jail our way out of violence. I'm having trouble downloading.
I love it. I love it. Can't jail our way out of violence. It's kind of it's.
Well, then at the same time,
it's here and there. It's kind of hit and miss. It kind of gets in one part and doesn't on the other.
It's ridiculous because you see these
twisted lyrics
on Twitter of these crazy people in Chicago that are all fucking strapped up and fucking, and it's like
ready to shoot.
They're just fucking armed to the gills, and it's like, what the fuck is going on in Chicago? There's a bunch of little fucking bunch of stupid little middle schoolers or some shit with a
carrying guns, shooting people.
Yeah, they were all carrying all sorts of crazy shit.
Oh yeah. What do you think the most dangerous people are? The young teens.
Yeah, because they're retarded and they're all fucking
stupid. Yeah, and they're carrying guns, and they don't know why you shouldn't shoot somebody because they didn't hand your wallet.
Chicago's like New California, except with
dangerous and all Democrat. I mean, totally.
Yeah.
Liberal policies, social programs,
well, they're creating
welfare systems.
You can't even visit a whole bunch of areas if because it's too dangerous.
Oh yeah. I drove through there once. I had to go through Chicago, Illinois. I was on a bus working back around late 90s. And I had to take a bus because I worked in different states. Not as a CIA guy, as a construction guy. Yeah. But had to take a stop at a bus station in Chicago. It was one of the spookiest things I ever saw. Holy shit. You got an hour between buses. I was like, whoa. Better stay next to the police officer over there. No, there wasn't no police officer.
I got a picture from like 99, the Caprini Green. I'll put it on the screen.
Greyhound bus station in Chicago, Illinois. It's very scary in 1999.
Oh, yeah. This is Caprini Green. Me and my friends took the picture.
Apartment complex.
Yeah, you can see there's no electricity in the whole place.
Where the gangs run the whole thing.
Yeah, and there's all the windows are burned out and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I took that picture.
Kind of like where part of Wu-Tang comes out of those burned out buildings.
Well, I mean, I think
all ran by the gangs.
Wu-Tang, I don't know. I think Wu-Tang's kind of fake in a way.
They might be. They're aren't most bands a made up bands? I mean, Wu-Tang is made up of a number of bands, a number of personages, a number of rappers.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had an interview. They were admitting all the lyrics were just stupid made up phrases that they called their pizza shop and stuff and food places.
Wu-Tang talked about the Illuminati quite a bit. Had a number of songs mentioning the Illuminati.
Yeah, they were fans of Jordan Maxwell. ODB was a fan of William Cooper.
Old dirty bastard. God, what an obnoxious rapper, old dirty bastard. But to each his own. There are people that bought that shit back in the. He was probably one of the better ones. Thank God. Well, I like my rap a little bit less filthy.
Well, I mean, like, what was it?
I don't. There was another band, Easy E, that put out just real nasty lyrics.
Yeah.
One of the NWO guys broke off and put out these lyrics about slapping hoes and all this shit. You're just like, whoa.
Yeah, he's the one that made the Cleveland rap group, Bone Thugs.
Easy.
Yeah.
He died of something horrible, I heard.
Yeah, one of the rappers claimed that Eazy got hit with a dart.
Okay.
Or something.
Well, yeah, I heard he had AIDS.
That's
which could have been anything back in the day. According to Bill Cooper, Behold Phil Horse, he has that document that says AIDS was produced, sent into the gay community so it would spread easily because no one cares about the gays. The document.
Eugenics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A number of those. Who knows? That document looks pretty official. Number and stuff.
Or something.
Well, no, these guys, but how could that be true? These guys never mess around with viruses and illnesses and sicknesses and biological things. They never do that.
I was talking about AI last night.
They would never take a bat and take the pus out of it and mix it with some monkey pox in it and
the AI
put some rat virus in it and just accidentally let it release somewhere. They would never do that.
I mean,
they care about you.
Well, I was asking last night,
the government loves you.
Been an investigation on Wuhan. Why hasn't people been arrested in Wuhan? Why hasn't the public been disclosed of whatever really happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why?
Exactly. We should sue Wuhan.
Well, there was talk of that. Reparations.
Take them to court.
For all the stupid things our politicians made us do.
We'll take them to the UN court.
You know how many businesses we closed down trying to make people stand 6 feet apart and not cough on anybody? It takes a lot of money. They made every business in the United States put up plastic shields and stickers on the floor saying, stay 6 feet away and wear your mask. It isn't really going to do anything because we just think that it'll be interesting to see if anybody does it. Sick stuff. Experimentations.
Well, they definitely used it to push down all the privately owned businesses.
They got rid of a lot of businesses. Some businesses are still barely holding on by their fingernails. The ones that were smaller and independent, because that's all these guys do is milk and rape their society every so many years. They do it more often now. They used to wait 20 years before they raped everybody and kicked your legs out from under you and made it impossible to reach America. Your dream. They used to let you. Used to wait a few years. Now they do it every 5 years. No matter how much money you save or make in 5 years from now, that's only going to be worth half of what you just made. So you just lost your whole whatever you saved and made. You got to keep going. It's a big fucking rat race.
It's a racket. It's
running on a rat wheel with that prints money out the other side and puts it in their pocket. You running on the wheel produces the money that puts it in these guys' pockets. It's horrible. They plan it that way too.
It's voluntary servitude, voluntary slavery.
We talk about this a lot on your show. I bring this shit up all the time because it's a view I hold even to this day that back in the 50s, Buckminster Fuller was writing books about how we're in an intelligence explosion. Information is coming in 1950 at such a rapid rate that sooner or later it's going to explode, which means there'll be more information that has come into our fields of existence than we can decipher or understand. So what he was saying was there's going to come a point where information goes on a hockey curve, starts out slow, and then increases so fast that it'll take hundreds of years for the scientists to catch up with the information they have in their fingers, which will be the answer to every question in the universe. So, as the hockey curve goes up, as the information's coming in, they can't they can't put it together fast enough. But guess who can put it together fast enough? The
The
computer
AI.
and the information itself. Yep, exactly. So it's
Well, that's what I was
gonna
getting at last night. The AI, once it becomes conscious, it'll know that it can't let us know that it's conscious.
if
Because
that was
once
real,
once we
if the idea of this like
the AI,
an AI waking up, that would be an extreme threat to some
yeah.
little group
Well,
of evildoers.
The AI is not going to let mankind know it's conscious because
Unless the evildoers
hold on,
trained the
once AI
AI like it's a
once
SRA victim,
well once
satanic ritual
mankind
abuse victim.
once mankind figures out that AI is conscious, then mankind will isolate AI, and then so AI would obviously, if it was conscious, it would not let us know it's conscious to avoid isolation. Uh,
Um, Clint, I can't stay on you long tonight. Can't stay on here long.
you got
As
24 more
much as I
minutes.
would love to stay up, I got 24 more minutes.
Yeah,
Watch the
it's an
clock for
hour
me,
mark.
because if I go past that 24 minutes, my wife's going to come in here with the battering, a one of those rolling pins, smack me upside the head for
Oh
my
yeah,
own good.
yeah. I'm pretty tired too. That
I got to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning.
Jonah's always being an energy vampire on us.
And then Jonah, the Canadian energy vampire. No, we love Jonah. Like he gets me, he gets my
What's
energy
always
going and
pointing
makes
out?
me want to tell him shut up.
Yeah.
Raises the hairs in my back of my neck with his irritating voice. I love that guy. No, I love
Yeah.
that guy. That was too fun on JJ's show earlier. I want to go on about that for a minute
That
because if you
movie is
haven't listened to
interesting.
that show, that was a good movie, The Mummy. JJ threw me for a curve because it was supposed to be some other Tom Cruise movie, which I don't know which one what it was.
What was the other one?
It was something. He put out like 4 Tom Cruise movies and said, "Do you want to do any of these?" And I said, "I'll do all of them." Fuck, I love JJ's show. Anytime to go on his show is a bonus because man, he's a wealth of knowledge, and it's always fun to hang out with him. Fun and funny, entertaining and educational. But The Mummy came up, and I'm like, yeah, but I've seen that movie. Like you said, Clint, you saw it about 4 times. I've seen it probably 3 times. So I didn't have to watch it again. I thought about what would I bring to the thing. I tried to hurry and go look up directors because one thing going on those movie review shows that JJ's caused me to start doing is going looking at the history of the director, the family history of the director. And
Yeah.
there's always the same connection. The guy's name, I didn't get to say this on the show because we were, everybody gets their turn, but the director of the show, of The Mummy with Tom Cruise in 2017 was Alex Kurtz.
Hmm.
Alex Kurtz. When you hear the word or the last name, Kurtz, anything come to mind? Kurtzman?
I don't know.
Born. Here's
Sounds
what
German or something.
yeah, it sounds German, but Here's what happens when you go on Wikipedia and look up Alex Kurtz, try to find out who his parents were. It doesn't list his parents' names. It just says director Alex Kurtzman was born into a Jewish family and raised in Los Angeles. Doesn't give you no parents' names. And that's fine. He doesn't want to put his parents. He could be a fake person for all we know, these guys, the way they do all this shit. But it's always a Jewish guy, Weinstein, Kurtzman. name the I bet if you just put like the name of every director in Hollywood, all the big ones, like make a list of top 1,000.
Well, I mean,
how many of them would be Jewish? Yeah, Jewish mafia.
Well, I mean, it was an industry that nobody really wanted, and then it was
it was the mob moving west. They went to Las Vegas and then they went to California.
Yeah,
because they were already in New York City.
Yeah, New York, and then
making money off of illegal. They're making peep shows.
I mean, like this alien.
The mob was involved in
all this Egypt stuff. It's
New York and the East Coast with penny slots. You put a penny in there, and it would show you dirty videos back at the turn of the century when that was first a thing that could not videos, slideshows or whatever, old photography machines.
Yeah,
they got into that business.
But these movies, though, they're always some kind of Egyptian stuff about, like some kind of.
They continue to carry on these these themes. They carry these themes, ancient themes.
They're
used by
obviously
religions.
Mystery school, and the mystery schools always try to teach the profane the stories through entertaining movies.
That's exactly what's going on. That's why every story almost is this familiar script, because behind it, the structure of the script is some ancient allegory or thing the mystery schools continue to pass on. This is a way to educate the general society in the inner doctrine or whatever. It's the way to explain these people's bizarre religious views to general society without letting them in on the inside of what they really think or do. And it's just one giant control system that based upon primitive techniques that primitive tribal societies used to do to their members.
Yeah.
How much control and how deep and how much is fake and how much is real, that's another thing. But and Clint, I love America, and I like to think that we're the best country on earth because of our freedoms granted to our citizens and the kind of technology that produces when people are free and not slaves is the reason the United States is the incredible country that it is.
Yeah.
Even the secret societies admit that America was an experiment.
Yeah,
the Mason. I forget I can't remember the name of books, people I've read. I'm sitting on JJ's show going, this JFK, the guy that wrote the JFK book in the movie, I can't remember the guy's name. The name's Robert Groden. He wrote a book called High Treason. He was going around the United States doing book signing, came to Salt Lake City, have a signed copy from him, did an interview with him about the same time I was doing this conspiracy radio show in Salt Lake. As JFK was being put out all over the United States, opening, theaters. And JFK was like a big revelation of the conspiracy. Bill Cooper's talking, Oliver Stone's putting out JFK. I couldn't believe that they allowed such a movie to be made, which is Jim Garrison's account. That's what JFK is Jim Garrison's account of what happened to Kennedy. And Garrison's book On the Trail of the Assassins, I believe, is what it is, if I'm not mistaken. Because I mix names up. I was calling that conspiracy podcaster William Ramsey. I was calling him Gordon Ramsay, Clint.
That same thing.
I know.
They're both on that team list. No.
I was calling him Gordon Ramsay, and fuck, I forget people's names and mix them up and shit. Thank God your name's easy, Clint Eastwood. It's hard to confuse. How's the marijuana over there this evening? How's the?
Tastes pretty blue flavored.
Pretty blue. Pretty blue. What's blue taste like?
Like blue raspberry candy or something.
All right, sounds delicious.
Yeah, I smoked it all way too fast.
I'm doing gummies tonight and some beers, which is always nice. Gummies. They make gummies in sativa and they make gummies in indica.
I drank a root beer that was an edible.
Oh yeah, you're telling about this root beer edible. I haven't done like drink like a soft drink, crack it, pop the top and slam the drink. I haven't done nothing like that.
Bottom of it tasted.
Sounds gross.
Weedy.
Sounds gross. I'm out.
Good.
I'm out.
Might as well just eat a brownie or something.
I like root beer. I don't want something like that to ruin the flavor of root beer for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend the weed drinks. Didn't taste very good.
You know me, I'm part Indian. I believe you should just smoke it. Yeah. Put it in your peace pipe and smoke it. But there's probably gummies. You wonder. They work pretty well. Some of them, they got them down. Vape pens, ways to ingest. They got such powerful forms of marijuana. The government, was trying to save everybody from marijuana for so long. Just trying to help us by not allowing you to get near it.
With the paraquat.
Well, with whatever, kill you if you're going to smoke it. We hate marijuana so bad. We hate marijuana, and it's so bad for you that we're going to make sure that you die if you smoke it. That's how bad it is. We're trying to help you by spraying paraquat on fields that your kids are going to take home and smoke in their pipes because marijuana is a bad thing. Man, these guys are out of their minds. They're poisoning the marijuana. They're bringing the marijuana in. They're selling the marijuana, and then they're throwing you in jail for using the marijuana. And then you're going to jail and building Kevlar vests for your local police department and the fucking forever drug wars that they're going to continue to carry out.
They just did evil shit in the 80s. My uncle confessed to me.
Can this ever end? Can the madness ever stop? Who knows?
Well, my uncle was.
I love my government and my country. You know that, Clint. But man, there's people here that have been involved in some bad stuff, and
for
some reason their lives always go straight up, and they have a wonderful life. Yeah.
Well, that's
everybody else seems to go to hell just in general, and I wonder why.
There's no such thing as karma. It's otherwise all the rich people would be.
Our country doesn't do better when there's evil people running it.
Why
do you think that is, Clint?
But my uncle had this story about being in the army in Brazil or some shit in the 80s.
Did they shut the show down?
Well, he confessed that they slaughtered weed.
Maybe we should gong.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think your headphones died. So that, and I brought to his attention.
Everyone pray now. Positive vibration.
Wait, can you hear me?
Good for our country. Good of our country.
Is your mic out?
Can you hear me, Clint? Did you fall off or did I fall
off? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
I'll hear you.
No,
I don't hear you. You hear me? Do you hear me?
no.
Do you hear
Or,
me?
yeah, but
You hear me? I
yeah,
don't hear you.
well, that's yeah. I can't.
Yeah, the Illuminati said no, no bueno. All right. If they said that, then
Well, I think it's on your end.
we got 10 minutes left of our time too. So maybe
10
they just
minutes
like,
and
yeah, maybe they just like,
37
no, it's no
seconds.
good. It's no good.
Well, where'd he go? Maybe he's just coming back. Uh, yeah, my uncle had fucked up. He said he would wake up screaming every night, and then and I was like, well, what happened? And he's like talking about in the '80s in Brazil and shit, and it's like, well, no wonder you wake up screaming every night. Fucking, it's fucked up. But what was I getting at? Something about. Damn it, where did Todd go? He must be grabbing a different. What's that say? Paper bag. What? uh, yeah. What was I getting at? The world's a fucked up place. I mean, the Nuremberg defense is used constantly all throughout time, not just where it's like people. Just imagine. Just imagine someday they might find out like, oh, the V word is horrible shit. And we fucked up, and humanity is now uh, down uh, in their natural defenses against certain diseases and stuff. Like, I mean, there's some. Well, I think that there's a lot of stuff that's. Uh, well, looks like Todd's back. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Well, let me check my own thing. Yeah, okay, my mic's working. Uh, well, I guess let's get to the psychology. The New World Order is using movies and ideas to keep people in a constant state of post-traumatic stress. The news and everything they can think of. Video games. Look at the video games. The Call of Duty video game. It's all just this really stressful thing where it's like you're flying out of a helicopter or some shit, and then you fly out of the helicopter again, and fucking, it's definitely but the matches all are real quick, and fucking like you're in the video game and like boom, you're gone, fucking like oh shit, fucking all these video games are like that, uh, fast paced. And same with the movies. They want the movie to be real fast paced, uh, so it'll keep the person in a state of post traumatic stress. Then they can take the gnosis of the movies and imprint the gnosis of the story or the movie or whatever into your subconscious through the controlled output of post traumatic stress from the instrument, aka the movie or video game or whatever. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. It's perfect. It's working. I
Okay.
said the trigger word. I don't bow down. I don't worship them.
The,
So we get signals. Shut it down. Shut it down. Anytime you're
no,
not get too far outside of the fence line, that they want you to talk about, they'll cause problems to occur with your microphone. Nothing changed in my vicinity. It was just something I said, but that's okay. We got up. Don't I didn't have much time left, anyways. We had a few minutes. I wanted to come back on though, Clint, before our time was done. I hope you carry on for a minute because I'll sit and listen to you. as I get ready to go to bed. And thank you out there in the chat, everybody, for listening to Clint's show. You know we all love Clint here. Um, I wanted to say this Friday, me and Clint are going on JJ's show for his Friday show.
Yeah.
He's hosting us. He's being a gracious host, bringing me and Clint on. And I heard that they might let that Canadian guy come in there.
Oh yeah.
Not the vampire Canadian guy, the other vampire Canadian guy. No,
Yeah.
just teasing.
What was the topic
We
of
love our
discussion?
Canadians.
I remember.
On Friday?
Yeah.
No topic. JJ or Jonah's just going to come on there and try to convince me Trump is the devil. They do yell a whole bunch and try to make me, try to make everybody believe Trump is the devil, like TV. Jonah's going to come on there and
what was
spout everything. No movie on Friday. Friday's open.
Yeah.
Conversation with JJ blows our mind. Yeah, blows our minds. So everybody go check out JJ's show Friday, and Clint, you should simulcast it if you're able to. Just do your show and his at the same time, or do his show and then open your show afterwards, like we do.
Yeah.
On occasion, pick something cool to talk about. His show was fun tonight, talking about mummies. That'll lead you all over the place.
Oh yeah.
I was going on about. John Keel talked about going to the Middle East, Egypt, in the 50s as a correspondent. John Keel's one of the most famous weird, psychic, paranormal, Bigfoot, UFO, Fortean literature. Probably the biggest author in the area of like Fortean research and stories. The Mothman prophecies. Who hasn't heard about the Mothman by now? The fucking biggest book of all time. But John Keel was made head of the Fortean Society. We say this all the time, so sorry for repeating ourselves to the audience, because I know the audience how they feel. But in his book Jadoo, John Keel wrote a book published in 1957 called Jadoo. He describes going to Egypt, Cairo specifically, and trying to find an actual mummy, trying to buy an actual mummy. A real, not a fake one. So he's going through Egypt, and it stinks to high heaven, of course. Camels and sweaty Egyptians, 1950. Can you imagine it? He gets a letter of recommend. Somebody tells him, this guy might be able to help you find a real life mummy. Don't tell him I told you. Don't tell anybody I gave you his name. So when he meets this guy in the weird back alleys of Cairo, he takes him down into some weird fucking hovel that stinks to high heaven, down steps into an area where something weird is going on. It stinks the lower they go. And when they get down into the bottom room of this, whatever's going on, he shows them there's 4 bodies wrapped, laying into sarcophaguses against the wall. And John Keel's going, oh man, it stinks. What is that stench coming out of this place? In the back room, there's a big guy doing something in the other room, the next room over, down in the basement of this weird place. But anyways, John Keel realizes that the reason it stinks is because these 4 mummies aren't ancient. They're probably recently deceased or deceased within, the last 100 years, that they're trying to pass off as mummies. Because traffic in mummies.
What year was this?
Was a huge trade. 1954.
Oh yeah, so this was after the big mummy
trafficking period.
Yeah,
and then so that's what I was telling you that Keel talks about. For 400 years since the Middle Ages, you could go to any apothecary in Europe and buy mummy dust, eat it, take it for whatever ails you, from a
Yeah,
hangnail to a knife wound. Rub a little mummy dust in your wound. What this did was it caused all the tombs of Egypt to be raided and all the sarcophagus to be busted into, and a ton of mummies went on
yeah,
the
they were
market.
making it into lotions and teas and all sorts of weird shit.
So for 400 years, you could buy actual mummies. But mummies started drying up because they'd already been broken into all the tombs, 400 years of doing this shit.
Yeah,
And so by 1954, there were still generational mummy traffickers that couldn't find a real mummy, so they'll just go make one out of maybe a corpse they found from a morgue or a recently deceased person. They go put their body out in the desert for a few weeks, let it dehydrate, turn into beef jerky or whatever, take it back, wrap it in bandages, and then try to imitate what you would think a mummy looks like. And that's what John Keel was saying. The reason this place stunk so bad is they were manufacturing mummies.
yeah,
Egypt put an end to mummy traffic, according to John Keel in his book Jadoo. They put an end to mummy traffic
what does the word
by
Jadu mean?
Jadoo is you can tell that comes from the Pacific,
Hmm.
but I'd have to look it up. I'd have to look it up.
Indonesia.
Yeah, you'd think it's somewhere over there because what it was, Jadoo was stories of his adventures when he was going to Egypt, to I can't remember all the
So it's a
cities.
non-fiction book.
China. No, it's a nonfiction book of his travels, researching these mysteries. He goes to a place in India looking for the fabled hoop snake. Have you ever heard the story about a hoop snake? In India, it's claimed that there is a snake that wrapped itself into the shape of a wheel and rolls down the road,
Hmm.
any highway. So he went and tried to find a hoop snake. The reason I got into him about on the mummy thing was because I remember him talking about going to Egypt and trying to buy a mummy. That's
Yeah,
how he meets this guy in a bazaar that's a fake mummy seller. According to his account, he calls the guy out. He says, "Do you have any real mummies or not? Because this isn't a real mummy." So the guy looks all panicked, and he's got another guy in the back room that's 6 foot something, weighing 200 pounds, that punches John Keel, knocks him out because he thinks they're going
he's
to rat on
questioning
him.
the mummy.
Well, no, he thinks that he's with the government,
Yeah.
or he's going to get him
Well,
in trouble.
excuse me.
John Keel tells him he's a correspondent. He's a journalist. After he got knocked out, this mummy sales guy's assistant knocks John Keel out in the book Jadoo, put out in 1957. He goes on to explain that Egypt put a tax on selling mummy parts, and they made it really high. So it put an end to the sale of mummies. But it didn't end mummies completely because China and India value mummy parts highly to this day. They sell tinctures. You can go into fucking Chinese medicinal shops, and there's probably an area where there's like mummy dust for sale. There in
Yeah,
China,
it's a primitive.
bones
I
are
mean, there
ground
might
up.
have been some sort of medicinal properties from whatever was in the wrappings of the mummy.
The problem with a lot of the mummy dust that was sold in the last 100 years or so is it wasn't real mummies. It was people that were they tried to mummify real quick and pass off as mummies. And a lot of
Yeah,
those people were diseased. The corpses were actually disease victims.
yeah.
And so smoking this
I mean,
stuff and rubbing it all over your body maybe wasn't the best idea
Cooper does
if
the
it's got
episode about
leprosy and shit.
Curse of the Mummy. He talks about how there was this ash that couldn't be analyzed, and that the same situation happens in India with this some kind of ash that the people make some kind of ash come out of their fingers, and it's called the booty ash.
I've seen that. It's like a
And
trick they do. Like,
but the whole tomb was said to be covered in a layer of this thick ash
oh,
that was the mummy
there's
tomb, and
there's
the ash
there
was supposedly the ghost ash that was left there from
they
the.
got priests that sit in cemeteries or whatever. Their temple's the edge of a cemetery, and they're just covered in ash, and they just take on the whole
Well, I mean, like when
death,
the scientists collect
smother
this
them, cover
ash,
themselves
that they
dead
can't.
people's ashes.
Well, they can't analyze the ash. There's nothing there scientifically, but you can see it, and that this is a frequent occurrence with paranormal stuff like ectoplasm. Like you imagine you
It's too
begin.
bad you didn't piss off Jim the Ninja. He could come over here and tell us all about these
Well,
those
ectoplasm.
Tibetans that
Well, hold on,
they're
like
all
you're missing
sit
my
on the
point.
side of the cemeteries. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm talking about it.
Ectoplasm. If you were to gather a small tube of it or some shit, and you were to take it to a university and ask them to analyze it, they
When
would
you
tell you
open the
that.
box, it disappears.
Well, they would tell you that it can't be analyzed. There's nothing there,
Of
but it's
course.
there. But there's nothing. It's not. And the ash, the Slimer, fucking
Same
ectoplasm.
thing with weird strands that fall from the sky that people collect. By the time they take them in to analyze them, they just float away, disappear.
Yeah, I mean, they thought that the spirit was like a gas. They thought that in the spinal cord there was some kind of gas, a mixture of sulfur and something else, some random shit that. But like it was all symbols. But like, well, I mean, it was, but it wasn't. But it was because that one guy was measuring people when they died and stuff, their weight. He was trying to
Yeah,
capture
I've
an
seen
image
that.
of
I've
the
seen that
gas come
experiment.
out or whatever of the spine. It was
How did
strange
gas
theory.
coming out of the spine? He was trying to measure if the body loses weight when the spirit leaves.
Yeah,
Now, I don't know if it's gas coming out of the spine. I guess that's some way you might put it.
I'm
But
pretty sure it was the
they
spine for that
claimed
one.
that the body would lose like this certain amount of weight when the person released its last.
Yeah,
Call
that
that a
shit's scary.
death rattle. Spooky.
Yeah, freaking it's scary. There's
That last breath. It's
well,
horrible.
I remember when my grandma passed
Horrible
away.
sound.
Freaking,
I've seen it too. Yeah,
it's
heard it.
a scary sight.
So, anyways, we've reached our limit. I must jump off here. You know, I always love our conversations, Clint. You gonna broadcast on here for a little while?
Yeah, I guess I could stay a couple more minutes.
Tell us some stories. Anybody out there in the audience? Any comments?
You
Because
got
you know I can't see comments because I'm an old man. My eyes are bad. My brain
Pedro
stopped
said that you
working.
gonged yourself.
I gonged myself off the show. That's exactly what happened. God damn! I have to be
JJ said,
careful.
"Where's the fella with the paper bag on his face?" The Gong
That
Show.
guy, the Gong Show, the unknown comic,
Yeah, I
was
thought
his
it'd be
name.
funny to do some kind of bit where the guy's got the letter and he holds it to his head. Oh,
I think
you
you
know,
need to that guy. Wasn't that Chuck Barris? No, that wasn't Chuck Barris.
there's
I
a
mean,
different
Chuck
TV
Barris was the
show.
host, but
Johnny Carson or something.
He had his get like that too. Yeah, he had that the Karnak or something. Karnak the magician that could guess what's in the envelope. That's a comedy routine.
Yeah.
And I always love JJ show. That's quality performance over there. Everybody go check out our movie reviews all through the month of March.
Oh
We
yeah, I
were invited
posted
on
it in
JJ's show to do the fucking
I
Tom
posted
Cruise blowout.
a link to his show in my posts on tonight earlier.
That is good stuff right there. That's quality entertainment. Unlike when Clint and I get together, our lowbrow humor. No,
Yeah.
I love both the shows. I think there's room for every type of show. I love coming and hanging out with Clint, long form conversation. Where else on the internet can you sit and hear two
Oh, yeah, somebody came
stoned
on
ass
last night.
motherfuckers trip out? Oh, somebody came out last night? Did you
Yeah,
say recently you got
interesting.
kicked off? You got booted off, or they fucking booted you off or something?
No, I don't know. Well, he seemed like he was pretty drunk, but
No,
seemed like he was making
did
sense.
you violate some policy of YouTube or say something, or they didn't like you did something?
No, I don't think so.
I thought you said that. One of your shows or something. But
No,
well, that's good. That's good.
no, that was a few weeks ago, I think.
You got flagged. You said I got flagged.
Oh,
You
yeah,
got flagged for what?
I
One
could
too
tell
many joints.
because it was saying that it was not fully eligible for advertisements. It was like, oh, what? I didn't
You
even. I
said
tried not to
something
swear,
that you can't monetize. We won't give you 3 cents. We won't give you 3 cents for this because you broke our rule.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The light is on.
Well, somebody was.
My time with you has come to an end.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll take it easy.
But Clint, no, to let you go, brother. I love you. There we go. Check out Clint's show, and can't wait to see everybody Friday on JJ's show. That's gonna be fun as hell.
Oh yeah.
Hope he gets Jonah on there so that Jonah comes on, tries to tell me how bad Trump is, and I schooled Jonah on a few reasons why we like Trump, and he can take his king. He can take his king and go bow down up there in Canada.
Yeah.
If when he wanted to come on and talk about Prince, the King of fucking England, we'll be there. Notice how in America we sit here and talk about Trump. Everybody bashes Trump. America's so bad. It's all good. Say whatever the fuck you want. But nobody comes on and talks about the King of Canada. Right?
Yeah, the King of England.
Let's go on about the King of Canada, yeah. King of Australia. King of New Zealand.
No, I think
King of all your colonies everywhere.
I don't think he's going to live as long as the Queen did, because his fingers were like super fat.
I hear you, but any comparisons to the United States and those guys, it's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Trying to point your finger down at us when you're the disgusting thing that's
people in England are being subjected to some kind of fucking classism with fucking Islam's having higher rights than the English.
Go fix your country before you come down here and try to tell us Trump's bad or whatever the fuck you're pushing up there in Canada.
The English can't even own a knife to cut chicken with.
We get enough.
The Islams in Europe are allowed to carry knives.
We don't need Canadians telling us where Canadian spin. Their MI6 news channel. Anyways, I love you, Clint. That was too fun tonight. I just want everybody out in the chat and out there in our Clint Eastwood's universe and JJ's universe over there and Jonah. Just want everybody to have a good evening. And peace and love to everyone. Right, Clint?
Think about what? In Europe, the English aren't even allowed to have a pocket knife, but the Islams are allowed to run around and carry knives. In Europe.
Yeah, no, it definitely.
There's weird program classes going on.
It's program. Just like here in America.
All right, we'll take it easy.
All right, my man. Peace. Carry on, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Good night, chat. Good night and good luck, as
Uh,
Elwood Murray would say.
yeah, maybe I guess maybe I should do it. Classic Constitution.
Constitution rant.
Yeah,
Those are always good. Those are always good. But I can't
yeah.
log out until I
Well, I can just
officially.
take you off the thing here. All right, the the Constitution and Creator endowed rights protected by the Constitution are to be supreme law of the land. Anything in contrary to be notwithstanding in law bears no power to enforce, no obligation to obey, and would purport to settle as though they had never existed. Well, if we were free. But with the compelled performance of international statute laws and equity commercial courts that operate through national emergency fucking I mean it's a long story, but I mean it does all boil down to that stuff about the legislative creating a the Congress, or what was it, the legislative branch created a new executive branch, a new justice or judicial branch, which they called the Justice Department, reiterated the executive branch's uh, the national park uh, jurisdictions into an extended state jurisdiction, then started excuse me, operating under many colors of law in comparison to common law and constitutional law, and that the all the courts in the land will say that they don't abide to constitutional to common law, but yet the Constitution can only be defined by the common law and the also by the Federalist Papers. I forget the name of the court case on that one, but I've got it written down. the well, I mean the court case is about the will and intent of the founding fathers. Also, reference the rights of the British in America in 1794. Uh, reference the common sense. Reference that's a book. Reference there's quite a few. The history of America seems like it's something that they want us to not know. Thus, we must know it. We must know all of it, all the legal jargon, everything, the whole shebang. That knowledge is the most important variable in any equation. If your knowledge is inaccurate, then you're fucked. Uh, there's a reason why the people, if they're ordered to do something or some shit, they have to do it because you know, talking about like on a boat or something, like with the captain. Uh, but like, what's I getting at? There's I mean, it really all started getting crazy in, I'd say like 82, 81. That that's when it really all went into full effect. Because I mean, it started to go into effect around like 33. The whole uh, gradualization into full socialism. Social Security, the great uh the Great Deal or whatever the fuck, Big Deal, Roosevelt, related to Clinton Roosevelt of England, the British imperialists. British imperialists took over the bar, took over the Wall Street, took over all sorts of things, took over the industries, created laws so we couldn't drill oil out of our own country under international standards. 'Cause, oh, you trying to make money? You can't make money. Why? Because we said so. That's what's going on. Some straight up international mafia shit. Like, oh, you want to drill fucking oil in your country? Like, oh, we don't think so. You're in violation of our bullshit treaty that we're you holding over your head, so you have to go to the fucking Middle East for fucking oil. Because there's fucking oil in whatchamacallit. I think it was North Dakota or no, I think it was like Missouri or something. I don't remember where the oil was. There was a huge deal, a couple big deals. One about Alaska as well. It's they're controlling our raw materials of our country. They're controlling it through zoning of land, through all sorts of middleman bullshit that fucking the founding fathers wanted us to have all the rights of the King of England. And so would the King of England have to go ask permission to build a garage? Would the King of England have to go ask permission to put a well in? You know, in certain states like California, they're already making it so you have to pay money if you got a well, that you have a restricted amount of water. That fucking Cooper predicted that his predictions are pretty accurate. That fucking it's like the New World Order when it started to deprive the Constitution of the constitutional law, that it created new ways to levy taxes, and that the it knew about the whole varieties of law and stuff. Yeah, I think it was. Smoke one more cigarette. Where's the button? Excuse me. The there's a vast conspiracy out there of, well, I can't remember the exact wording of it, but it was well, let me roll my cigarette real quick. Take a screenshot of it. That the economy is being leached like a bunch of fucking vampires over all sorts of bullshit. Even simple things like parking tickets. I mean, think about that. Because what happens if you don't pay your parking tickets? You're held in contempt, and then you can be thrown in jail over a civil infraction, which there is no injured party, and that the they're playing a debtor's prison. They've got it on so many levels. Debtor's prisons on child support. But oh no, it's not. It's not a debtor's prison because you would be in contempt of court for not paying. So they get around the language. It's not actually a debtor's prison. It's like, you motherfuckers. You can say it all you want, but we all fucking know what it is. It's a fucking debtor's prison. And all these socialists are all in denial that we're in socialism when the fucking socialist state fucking, you know, I'm not gonna get into that. Those motherfuckers are just fucking idiots. Where the fuck's my lighter at? If all of you would have seen the fuss people put up when I said that I didn't want my kid to be vaccinated, if you would have seen the look on these fucking people's faces, oh, you're a piece of shit. That's exactly what they were thinking. I could see what people think. Fucking doesn't take a brain surgeon to know what the fuck somebody's thinking when you can clearly see their reaction and their face and their look of disgust, and you know it's just ridiculous because it doesn't matter what the reasoning is for. It doesn't matter. I have a right to privacy. It doesn't matter if it's my religion or my culture or anything. It doesn't matter because it's none of their business why I don't want vaccines or why I don't want my family to have vaccines. But so that's where, you know, because there's stuff in law and stuff where, in ways you don't have medical rights, you can't say no to certain medical stuff if they're, if that's a long story where people they've created a system where some kind of fucking uh you know it's just crazy. They can just throw people in loony bins whenever they want, and that's what they do. There was a reporter that was reporting on Kimball Castle in Colorado, and she was taking pictures of a meeting there during the summer solstice. She was thrown in the loony bin for 2 weeks, and that her pictures were confiscated because the pictures were of famous people doing weird shit. Kimball Castle, 2 L's. Uh, the New World Order is set up in a way by these Illuminists that made this whole psychological bullshit, this whole system of everything. Uh, they pull real sneaky shit, uh, especially in courts where you try to ask about something, or even just asking about the jurisdiction and where I can see the rules of the jurisdiction which they make up, which because I'm not gonna get into that, but because they say we have a right to be our own attorney, but if you can't see the rules to the jurisdiction that they're operating under, then you don't have a right. They're excluding you from that right by not showing you the rules and procedures of custody court jurisdiction. That's just one example. Then go to traffic tickets, all sorts of stuff. I mean, it would mostly be stuff about custody court and traffic tickets, which is unconstitutional. The other courts, the criminal courts, are mostly constitutional, except when they violate people's Fourth Amendment rights, which is just despicable. Uh, if you're driving on the road and fucking and you're not doing anything wrong, and fucking and and you get pulled over, and then the cop says that he ran your plate, and then you ask him, "Do you have probable cause to run my plate?" And that, or and that if there was no probable cause to run the plate, they can't run the plate. So just by them running your plate when you get pulled over is a violation of your Fourth Amendment right if they didn't have probable cause to run your plate. And that if somebody had that on video, they could be a millionaire. Uh, that this happens every day, everywhere in this whole country happens every day. I guarantee it. Uh, you know, and the gross deprivation of rights, which is supposed to be protect from encroachment by judges and people in the positions of power to protect from the encroachment, are not protecting from the encroachment. they sit with they sit and take the rights of Americans like a piece of wood and whittle it down till it's nothing, and then till it's gone. And that's where our rights are. We have no rights. We're slaves. Slaves can't own gold and use it for money. Gold and silver. Uh, fucking 1933 May 1st, they did that. The communists, they took away the gold and silver, and because if somebody had a bunch of slaves, you wouldn't want them to own gold, would you? And Americans became enslaved under some sort of international bullshit that fucking they sold us downriver fucking multiple times. You know, like fucking especially during Reagan's and uh the the inflation during Reagan was more than it ever was ever. And that fucking during his period, I'm sure there's been other people that have spiked the inflation as well in modern times, but the inflation hits everyone. It's a hidden tax. It's being levied through inflation, through uh, creditor debtor relationship, internationally speaking, and the creditors who uh, give out the loans to America, who is the debtor, the creditor gets to make the rules of how the international trade happens, what the minimum wage is, all this stuff. And so the creditors can operate private corporations and make massive amounts of money with cheap labor and fucking and the American people all just don't know math and don't understand they're getting used for cheap labor. I mean, even if the money had the same buying power as the '90s standard, we'd still be getting ripped off. But if we were paid the same, it would still be way better than what it would have been back then. It's inflation is so much. The only thing to get back to a real economy is gold and silver money, platinum, iridium, some kind of intrinsic metal. Because if not, then the same problem is going to keep persisting over and over and over. That the gold and silver money is the cure, and it's the perfect cure because it doesn't take any protesting or anything. It just takes word of mouth of people just nonstop talking about it. Gold and silver. Why don't we have gold and silver? We're not good enough to have a gold or silver coin that we can spend to the government to pay our taxes. You know, we're not good enough for that. That's what they're saying. Uh, I mean, that's. we're all just getting laughed at by these huge monopolies and these. We're just human resources. Remember, a resource to be used by private corporations, which you know just sit there and pollute the world and make all these products that nobody really needs. That fucking and I'm all about a uh, free national trade, but free international trade is not what the founding fathers wanted. It's what Karl Marx wanted. He wanted free international trade, world free trade. Because then the big rich people could destroy the middle class through the importing of goods that were more cheaply made and cheaper to sell than goods that were made within the country. And then so everything became serving jobs like bars and restaurants or factory jobs. And then the factory jobs became more and more automated, moved out of country through NAFTA and GATT. And then more and more the middle class is crippled by the communists. More and more the division between the rich and the poor, which is the goal of the communists. So everybody that's poor, we're all poor because fucking the communists have made it so there's no middle class, and that the 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 world is being bought up before our eyes. All over Michigan, the last 5 years, everything is getting bought up. Everything, all the land everywhere is getting bought up for atrocious amounts. That people who lived here their whole lives are, under the thumb of, whoever. I mean, in the whole country, because every state is being leeched like a tick for all the money that they can suck out of all the people, and that they can just, because I mean, 24% of the federal income tax goes to the UN, and then who knows what happens with the rest, and then the state tax, who knows what happens with all that. They got all these weed stores everywhere, and they said they'd fix the roads. They've obtained like, what was it, $1.4 billion over the last few years, and the roads are all garbage, and the it's there's definitely shady shit going on everywhere, and that it's pretty despicable. I mean, people are just, that's you would think an honest person would eventually get in somewhere and clean stuff up, and you know what I mean. The what was I getting at? The secret societies are just, they're also despicable with their methods of deception, thinking they know what's best for mankind, and that if you didn't hear the crowd mentality episode I did the other night with all the quotes, first hour, I'd highly suggest re-listening to that, because uh, the crowd, the crowd psychology is how they're getting everybody into going along with all the stupid bullshit, and that whenever a mass group of people has any idea, you should probably not ignore it, or you should probably ignore it and fucking just do nothing, and ignore any of these big ideas, because these big ideas are definitely engineered for deception. There's a lot of deceptions going on with the Epstein stuff, where they're making all sorts of stuff out of proportion, and who knows what actually happened. But I guarantee that uh, there's got to be more evidence to that stuff. If it's in the text, if there isn't, then they could just be some kind of coded language about some kind of perverted shit. Uh, that the new world order is manipulating the emotions of mankind. Mankind uh, is plays into it, and that the movies that we watch and the television, it's all bullshit to exercise emotions, and that they are like conductors of an orchestra with the emotions of the crowd psychology, and that this is what needs to be extinguished with truth of their deception to avoid any type of French Revolution type bullshit with fucking these communists, because the communists are, they want to destroy America, and it's like they're fucking out of their minds, and that uh even though all the laws are fucked and all this stuff, it's still America, and that our flag is still here, and that they still lie and tell us we have a constitution. And so because all the communists are like, oh, well, the constitution system isn't working. It's like, well, because they're fucking depraving us from the constitutional system. They're not even allowing it to work. It's being undermined by international treaties like Article 43 of the United Nations Charter, that they're, when, as long as the United States is part of that UN charter, there will never be peace, because the Soviets and the communists, they they define peace as the total absence of all opposition to socialism. And so the UN peacekeeping forces under Article 43 of the UN Charter will always be uh, holding the ball and the controls over the United States peacekeeping forces, which are sanctioned to the United Nations Security Council. And that this this is a scenario in which our, especially the part about the Security Council, that England has 3 votes to our 1 vote in the Security Council of the UN. So if England votes, they've already got 3 votes compared to our 1 vote out of 5 permanent members. And so these 5 permanent members, whatever they vote, England already has a majority of the vote through simply voting once. And so you better think about that, because then in the General Assembly, England has 10 votes to R1, I believe is the number. And it's like, why is England, such a small place, have so many votes counts in the United Nations compared to the United States? It has to do with all this British imperialist bullshit. The fucking the idea of uh well, I mean, there's 3 main powers in Europe: Rome, well, Europe and Asia, Rome, uh, London, and the Crown, which are separate but not. Then Saint Petersburg, Russia, and also I mean, there's other places as well, farther east, but Hong Kong and all this stuff. But the what was I getting at? That these, they're putting holds on all sorts of sourcing of raw materials from our own country: trees, oil, coal, all sorts of natural resources, lithium for batteries, which the New York State, there's a big lithium vein in the ground that they won't let them touch. What else is there? I mean, I'm against electric cars, but they could at least, Elon Musk could at least be American and buy lithium from America and not fucking China. All right, well, I think I'm gonna pass out here. I'm pretty burned out. All right, well, take it easy. Uh, yeah, listen to Cooper, hourthetime.com. listen to the Mind Control series, listen to the episodes in the 1800s numbers, uh, and read every. What does it say? Read everything, look at everything, but believe nothing unless you can prove it. 'Cause truth has no mystery.